What's up, my folks? I hope everyone's doing good. Before we get on the video, I had some emails about when the pups will be ready. As soon as their papers come back, guys, I'm not doing the mail you papers anymore. It's too much can happen. Which there's only 2 pups I think we're letting go out of these. But yeah, as soon as their papers come back, which will be anytime. I just talked to him the other day. I actually went and seen him the other day, and got some other shit taken care of and gave him these, so it won't take him but a minute, probably a week or 2. Y'all can start getting with me, y'all that I've got, well, one, or I think there's 2 off this one, and I think there's 3 or 4 I'm letting go off the other litter. But anyway, let's talk about the fantasy world. But before we do that, what's up, Tex? Y'all ain't seen Tex. Tex is he don't know what to think about them little puppy. He's a puppy himself, just a little guy. He's wanting to play with them. But he's a son of Rusty that them boys in Texas sent back to me off of one of their bitches. He's a nice little pup, too. I like him. He was just too little. He's too little to go outside for sure, especially in this cold weather. Before we touch off on this video about the circus and the dogs, and which I told you guys it was like that in these dogs. There is people that are trying to learn, and that's what I'm really wanting to help. I was sent a YouTube video from a subscriber that he sent me, and I'm not going to down this man or talk trash or say anything like other people are saying, because it's not right. The boy's trying to learn, and he's trying to do good, and like I said, that's what we're doing these videos for, to help you guys. Now, he was speaking on his dogs not making it when it was cold. Okay, he lost some dogs. First of all, that's a very... I'm not going to scold you, but I'm going to scold you, dude. That's an irresponsible thing. That's from listening to all these other things and living in the fantasy world, bro. You got to understand, these are animals. They're flesh and bone. They're just like us. They will freeze and they will die. They are tough, but they're still what they are. Their thermogenics have to be right. Make your dog houses small, insulate them, fill them chock full of straw, put a wind flap on them. Those are things that you can do. I do all those things, plus when it gets like here, when it's been in the teens, they go in a heated barn. I put all my dogs in crates, and if you want to play this game, you gotta play to win. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to win if you get good dogs and you invest all that money in dogs, and then you don't have the husbandry skills, or you don't have the you can't be lazy. You're going to have to get out there and work it. You're going to have to build these things. You got barrels. Take them barrels, cap them in. Take 2x4s, box them in. Put a roof on that sucker, sides on it. Stack it, jam straw in beside the barrel in the plywood. That way you got some insulation in that barrel. Put a flap on it. Just take and put a mud flap from old tractor trailer mud flaps, and cut you a mud flap where you can put a wind flap on there so the wind ain't getting in. Them big water tanks with them cages around them and shit, that's way too big for a dog to try to keep cold. Plus, there's no R factor on that. It's just a little paper thin sheet of plastic around him. I mean, it's keeping the wind off of him. That's all it's doing. And I don't care. You can't, unless you filled it completely full of straw where he's in there like in the middle of an insulation barrier, he's going to freeze to death. Okay? They're animals. They have to be taken care of. I'm not scolding, but I'm just saying that's what, take a page out of the guy's books that's been breeding these dogs a long time. Look at their setups, how they're doing it. Look at what they're accomplishing by it. Look at the successful breeders, their husbandry skills. They're a cut above. Now that's the way it is. You have to watch these guys and learn from the ones that are successful. The guys that just throw them out there to the wolves, they're not always successful. They can't raise puppies. Their dogs die. They're scratching their head, and it's just common sense, guys. But anyway, all right. We had a hunt this weekend, and I invited a bunch of people from out of town, and I spoke with some guys from out of town, and they were telling me about another YouTube superstars. I guess they're trying to make themselves sound relevant, using me as a tool for it. But being that I'm not a tool, I'm going to snap back at them on that. First of all, the twins. No, I ain't never met them. Never heard of them. Never knew them. Didn't want to. Don't want to. Matter of fact, I don't know any other dog man that's ever heard of them or ever knew them. Even Bill. They try to claim that they win that Bill knew him. Bill did not know him. They didn't play your game, did you? Did they? They go, oh yeah, I remember you. No. Bill ain't gonna stroke your ego like that as much as you think he will. He didn't know you, never heard of you, didn't know anybody that did know you. Said the dog that y'all are claiming y'all had was someone else's dog. They didn't know you. So why are you talking about me? You wouldn't know me. What you do know is what you read in journals and what you've read online, and you're repeating all that. That's the way you are the way you are. As far as Mayday, talking about I was the first one to breed the Mayday. That's what somebody told me that you guys were claiming. I don't know about that. Let me go ahead and since you're claiming that shit on me, let me give you a little bit of history about me. One of my mentors / kennel partners was Victor Acort's kennel partner, was a partner of his. It was a woman. Her name was Mary. I used to go out to Mary's when Mary was doing bad and her husband didn't have a job, and we used to take feed out there. I fed those dogs before Mayday was even thought of. Okay, since we're talking about first here, and we're having a dick measuring contest. I remember Victor's dogs before Mayday. Matter of fact, I was the only one that could touch Lady Pack. Everyone else she'd eat up. I remember all them pack dogs, all them great dogs that he had before Mayday even came around. Those Blonde Jolie dogs. Okay? Matter of fact, I got some of them. I had some of them. Why do you think I'm so fond of the Niggerino stuff? Because it produces like them. All right? I remember, I know you say you were breeding the first to Mayday. Was that after he was a grand champion or a two-time winner or a one-time winner? Because if I remember correctly, we sent a bitch up there to be bred to him named Saragossa when he was a one-time winner. He became a two-time winner. We had that pup. Out of that litter, one pup was fair. I mean, she was a usable dog, what I consider a usable dog. Saragossa was a boomerang bitch, coming from Mr. Alamaderas. And we took that one pup. Mary worked a deal out with, I believe she worked a deal out with Victor, and bred that bitch. Her name was Alice. She was a brown and white pied bitch, nice flat big head and all that. She looked like she was going to be just amazing, but she was an average dog. Bred back to Mayday. Okay, now those puppies, those dogs came out real nice. I ended up getting two, and the deal was that I would go ahead and raise those two up, and then I would keep one after Mary picked hers. That was the deal. And Mary came and got hers. I didn't know what happened. There's a whole nother story. There's a whole nother hero in these dogs involved. That's just a diarrhea spot on the wall. Y'all might remember him, Little Ronnie Newman. Them dogs got a whole story behind them, Mayday, since y'all wanted to bring it up. And then Little Ronnie, she brought Little Ron Newman to my house to help her get her dog because her hip was bad at that time. And Little Ron and his kennel partner, Derek, who actually told me 20 years after this is what happened, that they came back. They stole the other Mayday dog. They stole 3 of my Jig's Cherry pups. They couldn't steal Cherry because she was trying to bite him. They couldn't steal Jig's because he was trying to eat them up. And then they went in my pen and stole my Sundance dog, which fucking irated me, and a litter of pups off of a bitch called Lizzie. You guys that are back then remember in that circle, remember Lizzie. The Lizzie Borden bitch was a Paladin bitch. She was bred to the Sundance dog I had, and I was furious about that. And Mary would not tell me who did it because she knew at that time she was trying to save me. Now that I'm an adult, more of a mature and realize it, but she was just trying to save me from going to prison because I would have went down there and killed that son of a bitch. At that time, I was that mad. Okay, I mean, I know it sounds crazy that a person's willing, but that was a lot of work, a lot of years, a lot of being in the right circles to acquire those dogs. Them dogs weren't for sale. Those magazines that you're reading were auto traders for dogs. I mean, that's all people really used them for. They would put cliches in there like not available to public, but here's my contact information. Come call me about a pup and I'll sure as fuck sell you one. Those kind of things. But as far as like the magazines themselves, like even Bill will tell you, that shit is fantasy, half of it. No one verifies any of that. So any stories in them magazines were as far what I consider fantasy. And all your main core dogmen had given up on putting in that shit. Most of the guys wouldn't even put in anything unless they wanted to have that SDJ certificate. You know what I mean? Which I thought was stupid anyway. But anyhow, everyone that really knew, you know. And then the guys that didn't know, those are the ones that only got their information from reading a magazine. Is that really who you want to trust? You know, that was our theory on the things. So let me get out of here so this fucker will leave me alone. Quit, you little bastard. Let go. Sorry, guys, I had to change, put him back in the crate. He was about to chew my hand off. But yeah, all that shit. It was just, you know, your core of the game knew that. You know, what you guys don't understand is we've had all that. We've been in that circle. I know what I'm telling you about. I breed dogs from what I see, not from hype online. A lot of them magazines and all that shit just turned into an ego stroking contest. I mean, they would put in stories like, "I want to," and the reader's right. You know, it either come a bickering fest like the forums of today, or it was just a cock stroking contest. You know, I want to thank my buddy Short Peter for beating Harry Balls. Short Peter had a brindle, cow patch, red-nosed, black mask Colby dog, beat a Red Boy Jocko, Hollingsworth, Tombstone, black, red mask dog. You know, stupid, just ridiculous, stupid shit, man. You know it's fantasy world. You know, but the greenhorns eat it up. And that's what the point of these guys now. I don't understand their point. But I'll tell you this, it's a joke. You know, you history buffs got to understand there's a whole world in these dogs that y'all never seen. Y'all won't know because it was a private affair. And that's the way it should have always been. I think if it would have stayed a private affair and the doors wouldn't have been wide open, like the gates just wide open for everybody, the dogs would be a whole lot better off today. There's people in these dogs, like I said, that are fucking wannabes, pretenders, and bullshit artists. I mean, I've seen as much as the bullshit artists. You know, like I tell you guys, there's guys on here that pretend to be dogmen. We don't know where the fuck they're about. You know what I'm saying? They saying all this loud, crazy shit and getting away with it does not make sense to me. And if you got dogs and you're talking like that shit, you're stupid. You know, if you're doing anything illegal with your dogs right now, you're stupid. Especially if you're doing stuff illegal and talking about it on online, on a computer, and calling weights out on fucking live chats and shit like that. That's idiotic police shit. Okay? And as far as the history involved, if you didn't see it, you don't know the truth anyway. I don't care if you read it in a magazine or somebody told you about it, or I heard my cousin's brother, auntie's girlfriend, sister told me, you know, shit like that. It's not, man, that shit don't float. You have to have that show me attitude in these dogs. You know, Victor Eckhart and I one time had a little going back and forth with each other over the Paladin dogs. Somebody was mentioning about how the Paladin dogs were so bad and unbeatable and all this, and now I done had my bout with them. But Mary Urban, one I just talked about with that was friends with Victor. Victor never met us. Victor never met us because Victor dropped dogs off for Mary to be the babysitter. I don't know what their deal was, if he was paying her or what, but I know one thing. She never had no fucking money. She never had no dog food. Her yard always was full of fleas. I was always out there treating it for her. I was always bringing her food. We were always going out there, not just me, but a whole group of us, helping her take care of her dogs. She had 40 dogs. Hell, she had a fucking bad hip, and her husband wasn't doing a damn thing. He wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? He done got fed up with the whole situation, didn't want nothing to do with the fucking dogs. He just wanted to go fishing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know what the deal was, but a lot of people used her like that to be her dog's babysitters and trade them shit and get her Paladin blood and trade her some bullshit back for it. You know, I seen all that. I seen it all. No one's telling me nothing. So I seen the Paladin dogs. Yeah, there were some good ones. I know Leroy was a champ. I know all these dogs, you know. But the fact of the matter is, I learned how to whoop them dogs by owning them dogs. And I learned what strain was better than them dogs. There were several strains out that were better at that in that area that we had that were better. Well, I mean better as they were just as bad, they were just as fast, they just bit just as hard, but they were game. Some of them were even badder. That our first original Turtle Buster stuff we had sent down in the early 90s. I think it was around 92. maybe 91. I don't remember. It was early 90s, just into the 90s. Them dogs were way better. And I know they had the hide satch blood in them. Maybe it was just, synergizing each other or whatever. But they were better than the straight pure Paladin. Ours were Paladin quarter red boy. We tried every different way but loose. And I know them dogs. I've seen them all do it. They have a clock in their ass. I'm not saying every one, but 95% of them, 95 out of 100, you're going to get a clock up their ass. And I knew this. And I was just stating that they are very beatable, that I would never have another dog with more than quarter Paladin in it again. And he got upset. Oh, man, you're full of shit. They're not like that. Blah, blah, blah. I can take you right now and show you something, before he knew who I was. And I was like, okay. I was like, you forget. I worked with Mary and did all kind of shit and partnered up with dogs with her for many years. I seen them. I think I had 63 at one time. I did a count on a yard. Straight Paladin dogs. Paladin, Big John, Monster Man, all that crap when I first got to Georgia. And they were yearlings, so I had them all, a lot of shit was going on. Paul was getting his fucking robbed left and right. He wanted to put puppies here and there. Mary was... her and her husband. It was a bunch of drama, so I ended up with some of them dogs, quite a bit of them. And some of them dogs are so bad, your average dog man would be like, this fucker's an ace. But he was an ace till about an hour and 15 minutes. And that didn't matter if he was in perfect shape. I mean, they wouldn't even be tired. And that's what they were doing. And I made that statement. He said that. And then when I told him who I was and what he goes, well, yeah, you're not wrong, but you're kind of not right either. Well, I'm right. You can't lie about the dogs. I don't care how destructive a dog is, how bad a dog is, and all that. If he doesn't have that one trait, that one attribute, then I don't fucking want him, and that's just me. I mean, just like the old dope man dogs. Even the guy that had the dope man dog will tell you. I've heard it from several people. I know. I've seen them. That T-boy stuff. Them dogs were bad as hell. They were very usable dogs. But I don't think Dope Man ever threw a game dog. But every dog he threw was usable. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of category. So you as a dog man got to be able to figure that shit out and how to make it work. And if you can't make it work, you got to start over. That's kind of what I did. It was kind of asinine for me to try to make Paladin dogs work when I had the fucking Midnight Cowboy Jeep shit that was smoking it. And that's another thing too. The Havana Boys dogs, Mary did a lot of trading and a lot of helping them guys out by keeping dogs there, especially after that big hurricane that everyone talks about back in the 90s. I got access to all that. By the time Mayday was here, I done beat a champion and made a champion. You know what I'm saying? I beat a champion that beat them boys, them Boyles boys twice. He beat them twice, and I don't remember who it was, but it was a very well-known dog, man. I'm not going to mention names because he might even still be alive. But and beat that one. And it was not with no Paladin dog. And that dog was half Paladin. That was a Monster Man candy dog. You see what I'm saying? So I kind of had an idea of what I was talking about. You know what I mean? It's in circles, guys. And it's kind of like when you just jump off the diving board and don't know how to swim, you're going to learn how to swim fast or you're going to drown. And when you look out there in that lake and that motherfucker's been swimming since he's been 3 years old and he's 50 years old, you know what I'm saying? You kind of got to figure that motherfucker learned how to swim. It's just like that, But the problem is these people nowadays, they learn how to talk a dog up and talk a dog down. And they do it the same thing with dog men. Look at how bad they bash these fucking clowns. Nobody that don't fucking know how to even raise a dog will bash some of the best breeders of all time. It's just asinine. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to clarify that because we're talking about circles here, not globes. And I was a regional man. There was no reason for me to leave the Southeast. If you didn't come down here, you wouldn't have seen me. And I'll say it like this. If you were never up in that corner, if you weren't in Florida or up in that north corner of Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, that area right there, y'all know where I'm talking about. You real dogmen know where I'm talking about. Where all the football players got blamed for everything. If you weren't in that barn, that big, nice fucking barn with a cafeteria on the side and all that shit back in the 90s, you weren't bulldogging. You weren't a real bulldogger. You might have been a backyarder or you might have jumped on somebody here and there. But if you weren't going to those, religiously, shit, man, get out of here. That's where the real fuck, that was the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl. That was where the bowl games were held. So don't talk to me about fucking fast lane. Give me a fucking break. You know, not everybody has to fucking get on there and blab and see their name in a paper. That's what got the game fucked up to begin with. You know, and that's why you see, that's why a lot of these guys, you know, these famous lines because they promoted it. Some of them guys, like the Mayday line, they could talk all that shit because they weren't here. They didn't have to worry about law enforcement because at the time Mayday come out, it was starting to get serious. Okay? By the time 2000s hit, you better back the fuck up. By the time 2010, you don't even want to think about it. You don't even want to think about it. So all these clowns getting online, and then now you got guys doing the same thing, stroking fucking people's egos online and shit. Man, y'all shut the fuck up with that silly shit. And I do want to address this because it was brought to my attention on a hunt when we were eating lunch. There is a dog that the one dog that I fucking regret so much of selling. I knew I should have gave the motherfucker back his deposit. When he pulled up and I seen him, they call the dog Baby Buster. There was an ad that somebody put on some forum. I don't hang out on these forums, but like I said, I hunt with a lot of guys, and so a lot of them do. Take that fucking ad and change it. That's fucking retarded, man. What are you trying to do? But anyway, folks, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe. And y'all keep on bulldogging.